This video has major spoilers for Expedition 33. Please do not watch if you have not finished the game. Expedition 33's biggest risk wasn't what you think. It wasn't that moment at the end of Act 1.
The rock. It's more about... Run.
When they killed off what felt like the main character to that point in shocking fashion. What the fuck? Nor was it the end of Act 2, when the game upended everything it had been leading you to, leading to a controversial decision that dared you to ask the question of what is actually real. Oh my God. What the fuck? The biggest risk that Expedition 33 took is actually this. Expedition 33 threw you into a world of incredible storytelling, beautiful cinematics, thrilling dodge and parry turn-based combat by asking you to walk around and talk to people. From the start, just walk around and have a little chat with complete strangers, with characters that you know nothing about and don't care about yet. And it might have been the most masterful thing they did. At least that's my opinion, coming from where I'm sitting in my room, which I guess isn't that big of an opinion. But you're here watching, so hi. Those other examples from the beginning of the video may be deeper, they may be more controversial for more people and carry more weight over time. But the reason why I single out this choice as such a risk is because this is the game's first impression. And first impressions are fraught with risk. The first 30 seconds of a video, the first paragraph of a book, the first 10 minutes of a game. And for a game to be so boldly devoid of its most flashy gameplay for so long, all in order for grander narrative payoff. Phew. They asked for your patience in an age when over 18,000 games have been released on Steam in 2025 alone, all competing for your attention. When games like Megabonk and Arc Raiders can snap your attention immediately with addicting gameplay. Hell, it even launched on Game Pass, where players are even less likely to be as invested in a singular title. That's what they asked, all of this outside of a brief tutorial duel interrupted by walls of tutorial text. Not only did it do this, but it made so much of this early world building that would lead on to one of the most traumatic moments that sets the entire stage of the game completely optional. Most of the conversations that you could have in this moment are optional. In fact, your playthrough, you may have missed some of those world building conversations. There's some that you probably definitely had. For example, you probably had the same conversation that I had where you were really shocked that that one lady would really have that much gall when you're about to freaking die to tell you why didn't you have any kids.
Oh, Sophie. Marie. Your flowers. I didn't know about. I thought you were younger. And yet you didn't have children.
I'm not having this conversation with you again. Not today.
Do you care so little about the future of Lumiere? How can you be so selfish?
I'm not selfish enough to bring others into our doomed world. I know we are not many to think like this now. And it destroyed my relationship with the person I loved the most. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'd like to spend this moment with him. And you should cherish this moment with your daughter.
But you also may not have talked to, maybe the trash can. There's a lot of things that you may not have done that other people did do because so much of this world building was an option. It was up to you how much you were going to connect, not just with Sophie, who was going to be so key to the heartbreaking moments at the end of this prologue, but also all of the people of Lumiere. If you missed out on some of these conversations, it could perhaps even cheapen the payoff at the end because they don't have the connections. This is where I think Sandfall shows that they are willing to take some big and bold risks, because essentially early on in this game, you are given a protagonist. You are Sophie, and you are very quickly killed off. Something that what I guess you could even argue becomes a theme in the game.
The rock. It's more about...
These conversations that you have as you go throughout this prologue kind of inform the world. They color the contours of what it is to live in Lumiere. Like the aforementioned conversation between Sophie and Marie, this doesn't just build Sophie's character and how she views the world and her place in it, helping you connect with her, but also the very real questions and consequences that the people of Lumiere have to face. Would you have a child or would you not? It could even make you question if you knew that not only did you have an upcoming deadline, but your child would as well, and your child would essentially have a closer deadline than you would, depending on how young you are. Would you be willing to? Would you be willing to bring in life that way? Or is this idea of hope that maybe, just maybe, the expeditions would be able to work a reason to go ahead and do it? There's so many different things that come out of that singular conversation besides just open, aghast hatred at what the hell Sophie dared say, because the way she delivers it is absolutely insane. Then of course there's the more lighthearted instances like the almost Easter egg conversation with a literal trash can.
Psst. Hey, you. You've been here for quite a while now. Can you leave? I don't want to draw attention to myself. I'll turn 33 today, can you believe my luck? Why would my parents choose the worst time? But I have a strategy. If I hide myself here, the paintress won't think of gommaging me. I've been hiding for 6 months now. So leave and don't tell anyone I'm here. Ow! What's that? It's hurting my arse. Maybe you can use it. Move on. The paintress must not know I'm here.
One that you can revisit later that will actually be a little bit sad. No! That's where the person was. There is a message inside. This is where the person with the stranger in the trash can was.
Actually, I am gommaging like everyone else. Looks like my plan didn't work. During my time in this trash can, I found a rare treasure. I am trusting it to you now. Farewell.
The trash can man. That's full circle from the freaking prologue. Through it all, the game lays everything out beautifully. Engaging characters, beautiful storytelling, fantastic performances from the actors, and very good set dressing. Even if at times, because of the limitations of the team and of course the Unreal Engine, things can feel a bit, I guess, plasticky is the best way to put it. I mean, after all, let's be real, this is an Assassin's Creed where you can very easily weave in between crowds and they feel very lifelike. They feel very set dressy. This is more like a theater stage and less like a theme park. And I think that's why the risk is even more apparent, because this comes in a bit like something that you would not want to do in a book, but in like video game format. This comes in like an info dump. In a book, an info dump is basically shoving in all this information that you think the reader needs to know, but in a very boring way, not kind of weaving it in, not really like giving it nice little things, but just like a chunk, a big ass chunk of information. And that's kind of what this would kind of feel like in a video game way, because there's one big thing missing: gameplay. Like the actual, like, the fighting, the RPG elements, a lot of the bulk of what you will do in Expedition 33 is not present in the beginning of this game. That is the risk. And for some people, it's a big risk. For some people, it's a huge, huge fucking turnoff. Like this person. The game spends the first excruciating half hour or so plowing through exposition. I had to refund it simply because I got annoyed at the fact that I had not paid to see a movie. Let the players play. The beginning cinematics need to be halved in duration, if only not to alienate gamers that like to actually be doing something with the game they just dropped $50 on. And therein lies the risk, those type of players, and there were quite a few of them. When I was going through reviews to make my kind of silly negative review video on Expedition 33, where I tried to find like 1-star reviews, there were a lot of reviews that mentioned this, that mentioned the basically the unskippable cutscene nature of the beginning of the game. And so I went back to my playthrough to gauge how long it took from the start of the game until I entered into what the above reviewer would have probably considered the meat of the game, where you're actively playing, engaging in combat, regularly leveling up, making RPG character building choices and such. It was kind of essentially, well, it was 2 hours. 2 hours. I'm slow though. So I was also streaming at the time and I like to yap. I don't know if that's apparent from this whole video, but I like to yap a lot. So we cut off like an hour of that. And at the same time, I think it's still, you can kind of gauge like at least like 30 minutes to an hour if we're kind of being very conservative on the amount of time from the start of the game to when you actually jump in, just if you're getting like the baseline amount of cinematics and conversations between starting the game and that meat of the game. That is a huge risk. But it's a risk that paid off extremely well for the game. It's a risk that I think set the tone for Expedition 33 that I can't imagine would have worked in any other way. No game in recent memory has so quickly given me such a strong emotional gut punch as this one. This one hurt. This one was mean. It was brutal. It grabbed you and it was just cruel from the very, very beginning. It essentially made me cry in the prologue within the first hour of the game, before any combat, except for like the freaking optional mime and the duel. I think part of how this worked so well is because it didn't gamify it too much at the beginning. It didn't thrust you into tons of combat and skill trees right off the bat. It grounded you in the narrative. It pulled you into its characters and world building and kept you close to them, making efficient use of your attention, even if it risked losing that attention without that gameplay. If they had not narrowed your focus and instead they had thrown too much at you, if say instead they had gone the Dragon's Dogma route and given you this whole combat prologue tutorial before the actual in-game character building and storytelling. I do not believe that this moment would have had the emotional weight that it did, the heartbreaking weight that it did. That still to this day, even when I went back to re-record it, had me tearing up. And will probably make you tear up seeing it again.
I'm here.
I know. I know.
It kind of took a longer approach to grab you with a more personal touch than the more flashy approach, because they very easily could have started at the beach and they could have gone from there. They could have used flashbacks. They could have used just cinematics and it could have jumped into the combat. And I think a lot of people would have still enjoyed the game. They still would have felt the game. But I think the approach that they actually went with, this approach, is what made it so much better of a story, at least for me, because of how it got its hooks in me so quickly and so early by not throwing gameplay at me so early, at least in my opinion. But now I want to hear from you, because this is just me in a room and my opinion, and I want to hear from you. I want to hear if you think they should have done something different, if you think that it would have been better if they would have started with some of the combat, because the combat is a really fun and engaging part of Expedition 33. It is one of the sterling moments of the game. It is one of the things that carries you through the game, as well as the incredible storytelling and performances of the game and the music of the game. So not having it for that long in the beginning is, sorely missed by a lot of people. So I want to hear from you, if you agree, if you disagree, what you think. So please let us know down in the comment section below. But if you want more off-color reviews of Expedition 33, like how upset people got because they couldn't have sex with Monoko, well, check out this video right here. You'll probably have nightmares or, regrets, lots of regrets. I think I have regrets making the videos, so you'll probably have regrets watching it. My name is Redbeard Flynn. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. Appreciate you very much.